Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with Creed. All right. You know, whether I get tickets or not, that's my problem. And you shouldn't make fun of them. You know, the arcades, they used to have them outside of bowling alleys where you go in and no, like not on the boardwalk. I'm talking about like like indoor arcades with the machines and would play the Ninja Turtle game. You had to keep putting quarters in because the turtle would die. That was the good stuff. I mean, I didn't play bowling. I went to the snack area. That was good. But I mean, that's all I would do in a bowling alley. So Steve Wonder here from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to talk about how we can make sure in Intune and Autopilot we're only deploying apps to either desktops or laptops, and how you can kind of sort that out by the type of hardware it is. Okay, and Creed's fine. Now, what's wrong with Nickelback now?
Get Rubix, solving for the modern workplace.
Okay, so we're here in Intune, and one thing that you might notice is when it comes time to push a certain app or policy to a device group, let's say 7-zip, for example, I'm just going to make that up. You know, what happens if I only want to assign this app to desktop computers for some reason, or I don't want to assign it to desktop computers, and I don't know what's out there, right? So if we think about how we can group stuff, because that's the first idea, right? Dynamic groups. I'm going to make a new group and I'm going to call this desktop PCs. And we'll make this dynamic device and we'll add the query. But if we look at the property, right? Device model, ownership, management type, physical ID, device trust type. When you look at everything here, it becomes very clear that there is no chasis. Is it chasis or chassis? I don't know. So we're not going to be able to use a dynamic group to filter by the type of hardware it is. But filters, what about filters? So I'm going to go down to filters and let's see if we can do something there. Let's create a filter. We'll call this desktop PCs. And Windows 10 and later, perfect. So the property is, dang, thwarted again. All right, so clearly I'm not going to be able to get this information from anything in Intune, and that's a problem. But how do I get the information? Well, on my device right here, which is I forget what it is. This is a laptop right here. Let me make this a little bigger. Good old PowerShell never lets us down. So I can run get computer info and pipe that to select. So if I run get computer info, obviously a whole lot of information is going to come back. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. But notice that up towards here, CS PCS system type, it says mobile. So mobile might mean laptop, but in order to be sure, let's do this. All right, so this computer is a desktop. It's a very messy desktop. There we go. Now we don't see the mess. So we're going to do the same thing. Get computer info. And now when I go to CSPCS system type, it says desktop. All right. So we got our attribute now. All we have to do is figure out how the app is going to know which one it is. So luckily we can use a custom requirement for this. Okay. So all we have to do is grab that one attribute and evaluate whether it's a desktop or not. So we're going to go ahead, CSPC system type. So we should be able to just grab it by saying PC type equals get computer info, select object, expand property, and it'll be CSPC. I've been saying PCS. It's CSPC system type. All right. And now I can just call that variable and get back the value. It's either going to be mobile or desktop. So all we have to do now is make a requirements file. Requirements script, I should say. So we're going to call this desktop requirements. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say PC type equals get computer info, select object, expand property, PC, no, CSPC system type. Then what we'll say is if the PC type equals desktop, we'll write the output install. Else, we'll write output don't install. Perfect. Very, very simple, right? So if it's a desktop, we're going to install it. So what does this mean for Intune? This means I'm going to go up to the apps and we're going to say Windows. We're going to go back to, let's go back to 7-zip. This looks like a patch my PC one. Perfect. Not a big deal. So we're going to edit the app information and we're going to go to requirements. And we're going to say the requirement is a script, desktop requirement, and the file is of course going to be on the desktop. And we are going to say the data output if the string is equal to desktop. That's it. So I am actually going to now take this and I'm going to assign it to all my devices. Guess what? I don't have any desktops in here. At least I think I don't. Okay, so now that that's deployed, we can just come back in here and 7-zip is assigned. Yes. Okay, perfect. Look at this. Not applicable. If I go to device install status, look at that. Not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. So I didn't have to worry about sorting it out with the groups. I was able to use the requirement script to detect the type of PC it is and then not assign based on that. Like I said, don't have any desktops. So this is just another example of something we want. Intune doesn't have it natively built in, so we can use PowerShell and our brains, well, whatever brains I have, to figure out how to get around it. So we use the chasis. Did we decide if it's chasis or chassis or whatever? We used what type of PC it is for today, but you can use any attribute you can query and just use the output as the requirement for the application. So hopefully that helps you. Let me know what you'd like to see, if there's any ideas you have that you would use a custom requirement for, and we'll be seeing you.